The 79-80 basketball team achieved one of the records that only two teams in LeRoy history have achieved. That is an undefeated regular season. The Tim McCulley-led team with Rod Gilmore and Benny Wright, they also were undefeated, and they lost in the sectional finals to a Tom Coughlin-led team from Waterloo. You recall Tom Coughlin became a Super Bowl winning coach in the NFL, along with Mike Shanahan, who we're so proud to have here today. Let's talk about 79-80. Jim Bonaquisti will give you all the nitty-gritty and the humor of the team. I'll just say again, they beat Caledonia twice. They beat Livonia. They beat HFL, which is a school district with about twice the student body that we have. They had some great players. Tim Alexander was the scoring champ for the whole division. Dan Wright was the point guard. Joe Shaughnessy followed Dan in playing style. Great ball distributor, great defender, great passer. Also on the team were many of my good friends. Chip Smith, Vern Falcone, Jimmy Bonaquisti. One of the Clark twins is here, came a long way. We're so glad to have him here. And again, Chris Bowler was a sophomore on that team, and he showed a lot of the potential that he had as a great basketball player that was realized as one of the all-time greats at the RIT program. Jim, come on up.
I want to thank the committee for choosing our team to be inducted in the Hall of Fame. I want to thank or congratulate the other members. It's my pleasure to be able to coach three of these guys up here and have the Shaughnessy's and Fulmers on your football team. Coach Moran made us look a lot smarter. As a special teams coach, I never leave a game or never get to a game or a practice without a stopwatch. Coach Shanahan, you know what I'm talking about. And I know Jimmy Rogers, he wants to keeps his speech as brief as possible, so we're off and running. I don't want to be one of those speakers that got up here years past and said they hated to talk, and then 45 minutes later everybody's either half asleep or left. When Reed asked me to be the spokesperson for our team, I was both honored and surprised. Reed, I do have one question for you. Did 4 of my teammates follow out? I must have been, it's probably the first time ever that a 9th man in the history of LeRoy basketball ever chosen to be the spokesperson. Of course, I knew how good this team really was. I had the best seat in the house for every game. Before I go any further, just a quick story that I feel is important for coaches, administrators, and more important, parents to hear. Halfway through the season, I was a little disappointed. I wasn't playing a lot, so I went home and told my father, you know, this kind of sucks. I'm not playing much. And he said, I don't know, go talk to Coach Ruane. Now, my father knew the answer to why I wasn't playing. He saw me play. So the next morning, I marched myself into Coach Ruane's office and asked him why I wasn't playing. He cited my lack of height, shooting and ball handling skills. Coach never skirted around an issue, right to the point. That was the end of it. My parents didn't call the superintendent, didn't have to have a meeting, that was it. And from that day forward, all I really wanted to be, I was a part of that team, I just wanted to get to the War Memorial and possibly warm up on that floor. And I've used that same honesty that Coach Ruane showed me as a high school football coach here for 25 years. You just have to be honest with the kids. So now highlights from the 79-80 team. Reed just stole my thunder a little bit, but beat Avon, Livonia, Honey Eye Falls, Dansville twice. Beat Calmon twice. We played 3 games to complete sellouts. Our tickets were so hot that we actually, one occasion, helped a future Board of Education member sneak into the window. Is Pete Loftus here? His wife might be. A true story, you can verify with him later. There was an article in the Rochester DNC when we beat Calmon for the second time. Quote, the show was a sellout, and for the 11th straight week, a rousing success. They're packing the gym at LeRoy. Football crazy LeRoy to show off an unbeaten and always exciting basketball team. Perry game, down by 7 late in the fourth quarter. Came back to beat them with the help of full court pressure, clutch follow shooting by Tim Alexander and Danny Wright. Keep in mind there was no shot clock or three-point line, so it was all done on defense. Timmy Alexander's jump shot, the last second to beat Avon in Avon. We also had what was called the Animal House, cheering section led by a really good friend of mine, John Mangiafrida. They were great, always coming up with new and innovative ways to keep the home crowd entertained and the other teams annoyed. One exception though. John thought it would be a great idea one night late in the blowout game to start requesting players to be put in the game that hadn't been in the game yet. So you got the whole cheering section. First name up. Give me a B. Give me an O. By the time he got to N, Coach Wayne looked down the bench and told me there was no way in hell I was going in the game now. So, man, just here, thanks you. You ruined my career. Final regular season game at Mount Morris, one of the attendants that greeted us at the front door asked if he should roll out the red carpet for us. After thrashing them, Chip Smith told the same guy as we exited he could roll it out now. We ended up, we were the top seed in Class A. Again, Class A, we weren't C or D. 16 teams, no byes or home games. Unfortunately, we lost our second game in overtime. 3 of our starters fouled out. I ended up in the game in overtime, as you can imagine, we were doomed. Although we didn't reach the ultimate goal of playing in the War Memorial or winning a sectional championship, I feel we set the table for the next 2 years as they reach the semis and then the finals, which Reed has just talked about. Our coaches. First guy's probably going to surprise some people. Tom Jackson. As 8th graders, he drove us around in his station wagon on Saturday mornings to neighboring schools, put us in tournaments. All on his own dime. No AAU selected team. If you could fit in TJ's station wagon, you were selected. Mr. Reeves, our JV coach, led us to a 16-2 season as freshmen and his perfect 16-0 season as 10th graders. He was a fun coach to play for, and we learned a lot from him. Coach Rowan was as old school as they came. World War II veteran, set in his ways. A trait that none of us truly understood as smart-ass teenagers, but later came to appreciate when we became adults. He stressed hard-nosed, man-to-man defense. He taught us to be tough. No team ever pushed us around. He had no real set offense, just let us play. Our entire team was all about getting the ball to the open man. Frank was a good and honest man. Looking back, he taught us more about football than basketball. Unfortunately, all 3 of these men have passed away, Mr. Reed, just a few months ago. My teammates. Vern Falcone always matched up against the other team's best big men and more than held his own. Guys like Ronnie Poles from Calmon, Mike Reed from Perry, just to name a couple. Great defender, rebounder, was automatic around the basket. Just a strong presence in the post, just a country-strong guy. Don Furr, Lockhead. Don't let the nickname fool you, he was our class valedictorian. Our captain. Excellent baseline shooter, rebounder, and defender. Our other post player. Blockhead was our leading rebounder and second leading scorer. Mike Saccolari, Sack, always kept the team loose. Sense of humor. Matter of fact, he told a story last night that cost him second half of a practice. Coach Wayne says, somebody jump up there to take a foul shot. Sack literally started from the top of the key and jumped into the foul line. Needless to say, he was sent home early. He also never met a shot he didn't like. Timmy Alexander, our best player in the league, arguably top 10 at the time in all of Section 5. Clutch shooter, our leading scorer, he was someone that the other teams always had to be aware of. Danny Wright, Piggy, he hasn't heard that in a while. Our point guard, floor leader, unselfish player, almost to a fault. Great clutch shooter and always looked to pass first. Danny told me he thinks of our team often when he's at his work, and everything, that one word that always comes to his first thing is teamwork. Chris Bowler, Krista, the only 10th grader on the team. He started the season as a sixth man because Coach Gawain never liked to start underclassmen. But by Christmas break, there was no denying his greatness. After being inserted into the starting lineup, we really began to click. Unbelievable defender, shot blocker, clutch shooter. Chris went on to lead teams in scoring over the next 2 seasons. As a senior, all Greater Rochester selection. Chris went on, as Reed talked, had a really good career at RIT. I believe he's one of the best high school players in the school's history. I'm a little biased. Chip Smith, first player off the bench. Arguably the best athlete in the school at the time. Great passer and defender, added that toughness that kept opponents on guard. He also had the ability to get under the skin of other teams. Paul Tallow, backup point guard, another team-first guy that got the ball to the open teammates. Paul was a scrappy player that always had the knack of coming up with loose balls. And Marvin Clark showed up today. Awesome he came, Marvin. Marvin, his twin brother Martin, and Joe and myself, we all knew our roles. We just did what we had to do in practice to get the starters better. It was great seeing all our teammates last night telling stories, some of which I believe were embellished. Great friends for life. Finally, thanks for allowing me to be the spokesperson for our 79-80 basketball team. Thank you.